kenyamanan dan jalani acara. Oke, mungkin kita udah gak sabar untuk segera lanjut dan mendengarkan sesi kedua yang gak kalah keren dari sesi yang pertama. Karena kita akan ngomongin balancing social circle. And our second speaker tonight is the Executive Director of Citibank Singapore. He also management program at Raffles Medical Group and awarded scholarship with Micron Technology. So, what are you waiting for? Please welcome Mr. Ong Chye Chye.
I hope I look like this photo. It's okay, I can just begin. A very good afternoon to Vice Rector, Dr. Ida, academia from the university, distinguished guests, students from this university, and friends from around Indonesia. It's my pleasure to be here tonight, right? First of all, I would like to thank the organizer for inviting me over to Jakarta. A few months back, when they invited me over, I really can't resist, because I really love the warm hospitality and the friendliness of Indonesia. And I have a little secret, and this little secret is, I love Indonesia food. It is bagus and sedap. I'm sorry, these are only two bahasa words I can speak, right? And thank you. And as I step into this university, I really can feel the dynamism and the energy of every one of you here, right? It really makes me feel young again, although I'm not that old. And the panel of speakers will agree with me. All of you here actually bring down all our average age, right? And with this energy, I shall begin my presentation. So today, I'm going to talk about balancing social life. But before I delve into this topic, let's look at what or how our social life look like. Familiar? We have good grades, which all of you now are trying to achieve. Academia, social circle, your friends and your family members, and of course, sleep, right? We all try to balance these three areas of our social life. Actually, this is an old model, because the new model has one more area, and that is social media, your Facebook and your Instagram, right? And you will hear a lot of complaints, about when you try to concentrate on some areas of the life and neglect certain areas, then you find that you don't have time for your Netflix, you don't have time to eat, and you don't have your me time, and you don't even have time for your family. Is this picture correct, accurate? Yeah? Actually, my social life is no different from this, except that maybe I substitute the good grades with my career. So we all face the same thing. We all need to juggle different areas of our life. And the truth is that in society, we are now more interdependent. And we are now more connected than ever before. Last time, when the news happened in one part of the world, it may take a few days or months to reach the other part of the world. But right now, when the news happen, I don't know, in eastern part of the world, within 1 second, the news will travel to the western part of the world. And sometimes vice versa. News travel first before things happen. And that's what I call fake news, right? And now the government is trying to clamp down on fake news. And there's always this balance about fulfilling your social needs and the needs of the people around you or the society. Because whatever we do will have an impact on the others. And what others do will also have an impact on us. So, what should we do? Well, how can we do? Right? There's a need to make wise choices. Choices about putting things into perspective. When I talk about perspective, it's about balance. And this balance is not only about balancing your time in different areas of your social life, but it's also understanding what each area of the life, what the purpose of each area of life is for. Because if you do not know the real purpose of each area of the life, you may bark up the wrong tree. And you may do something that does not deserve the goal that you want to achieve. And you waste your time. And when you know the purpose that you're supposed to give, you actually feel happy. Your time is not wasted, and you feel that you have time for other areas of your life. Right? Famous quote, all work and no play make Jack a dull boy. And so, we really don't have to choose between one or another. We just have to know what each of the area of our life and what the purpose, and try to balance it off. And I shall propose 3 aspects of the area of life we should be balancing. And we should have a certain balanced approach and perspective. First of all, academic. The learning journey is about developing skill sets for survival in society, and it's also a form of career protection. Okay? The second area that we should pay attention to is our social life. Social life is about fulfilling our emotional needs. We all have emotions. And in the social circle, it helps to fulfill our social needs and also help to mutually fulfill other people's social needs. So it's about establishing good relationships and emotional support. Last but not least, it's about well-being, your me time, right? This is the area we also should have a balanced approach to. We should have time to pursue our own interests, and more so, time for our spiritual growth. I shall explain more about spiritual growth later, because this is something that I feel is lacking. And spiritual growth is important because it answers to our higher order of thinking. Let's start with academic, developing skill sets for survival in society, career protection. Okay, academic. Your education here, is it all about your results? Is result the most important that you should achieve here? I mean, I'm not going to kid and say that, results are not important. It is important, but it is not the most important. Results are just part of an equation of why you want to have a lifelong or you want to have a learning journey here. I mean, all of you went through, I think, this very familiar situation, right? We all prepare for the exams, and when it comes to the exam hall, suddenly our mind go blank, and we don't achieve the result that we want to get. And then we get very depressed. Is your learning journey only determined by that 3 hours of the exams, or is it more than that? Learning is about process. It's a process, right? It's a process of knowledge, both knowledge and learning. Knowledge of the study material, of the content, and more importantly, it's about learning of life skills. And just now when I spoke about results, I mean, I've been interviewing people. Normally, result will only get you your first job because you don't have experience, there's no credential, so the interviewer or your company can only look at result as some indicator whether are you suitable for the job. But other than that, it's really not so important. right? And so, what are the life skills they're talking about? And which is so important that I need to emphasize. Analytical skills, which is so important in your career next time, right? It's a skill to be able to collect, analyze information, and solve a certain problem. And now we talk about big data, a lot of data, and how are you able to crunch those data and come up with meaningful solution? So take your time here to really hone your analytical skills. It's very important in the workplace. Secondly, critical thinking is the ability to really think clearly and rationally about what to do or what to believe. There are so many things that happen, and things happen very, very fast. Are you able to be calm and think critically about what needs to be done and what are the solutions? Teamwork. Just now, Professor Isman have put it across very clearly. It's not about competition, right? It's about cooperation. And he put it very profoundly. Yes, teamwork. It's the ability to embrace each other. Diversity. How do you embrace diversity? And work as a team to achieve a common goal. There's no single man that's going to do the job now. It's all about teamwork. It's all about collaboration as a team. So how are you going to work as a team? And these are the things that is so essential in workplace now. Next, yes, stress management. We all will go through stress in life, be it study, be it working life, or even be it doing nothing. It can be stress doing nothing. So how do we manage stress, right? It's the ability to really identify your stress trigger and practice effective coping strategy. That's the reason why mindfulness practice is on the rise. Google has been using it, and a lot of companies is adopting mindfulness practice because mindfulness practice is one of the scientific proven technique to able to help you to cope with stress, to able to help to think properly. Communication skills. A lot of time we love to talk. We talk and talk and talk. But are you able to listen? To listen for cues, to listen for what the other person is talking about, to listen what's the viewpoint of the other party, right? And to able to empathize and the ability to really communicate, not only through verbal, but non-verbal cue, like body language and things like that. Last but not least, is the time management. Ability to organize and planning how to divide your time between specific activities and how do you prioritize, which is now so important because things are moving so fast in the work life. Are you able to prioritize all these things that you have on hand? And I encourage you that in your academic life, really focus on this lifelong learning of the skills, of these particular skills, not only really focus on your results. Because like what I mentioned just now, results is just one part of the equation. If you're able to put your academic life into perspective, know the purpose, you'll be able to reap the fruits of this lifelong journey and have a purpose for that, right? As I mentioned just now, when I interview people for jobs, I no longer look at academic result per se. As long as this person meet the minimum standard, the minimum academic level, I will just call them up for interview. And through interview, what I'm looking at is really, are they compatible to the company? What are their personality? And whether do they have all these skills that the company want? For example, Facebook, right? It's a very popular company, and it's the first company to cross the trillion mark in the stock exchange. They have 5 core values which they look at for hiring candidates. People, it's about critical thinking. Are you able to think out of the box? despite all this information going around? Focus on impact. Are you able to use your analytical skills to come up with solutions that have impact in the world or in the space, in the cyberspace? Thirdly, moving fast. They need candidates who move fast because in this digital world, every second things changes. So you need to move fast. And moving fast also means that you need to really manage the time properly. Fourth, be open, right? It's about communication skills. Be open to ideas. Be open about things that may challenge your ideas as well. And embrace diversity. Last but not least, building social values, right? Company now no longer only care about P&L, profit and losses. There's a social conscience going on. So it's about teamwork. How do you work as a team to fulfill the company purpose? So to recap, if you're able to look at your academic life look at your academic life not only about results, you should be able to know that a lifelong learning, an academic journey, is about learning life skills. And once you know the purpose of it, you will find yourself not missing on the big picture, and you have time for other things. Next, I shall go into social aspect, your social circle. It's about establishing good relationship and emotional support. A lot of us complain, right? Or you hear your family members or your boyfriend, girlfriend complaining, no, we don't have enough time. Really? Is it we don't have enough time per se, or we don't have enough quality time? These are two different things altogether. No, one is about the quantity of time, and one is about the quality of time. You know, in Singapore, I always tell my friends, most of us has two common best friends. You know what are two common best friends? They all share the same name. Our two common best friends are Apple and Samsung. We always look at our phone. And of course, right now we have more contender. We have Huawei, Oppo, or even Xiaomi. Right? When you go to any restaurant or you see family eating together, most of them just look at their phone. Phone become their best friend. So your best friend is Apple, Samsung, Oppo, Huawei, Xiaomi. Not your father, mother, boyfriend, girlfriend. Right? So there is really a need to establish meaningful and fulfilling relationship with others. It's not about the time. You have to make every conversation and contact a kind and a positive one, right? It's about quality rather than quantity. How many of you have best friends here? You mean no one? Seriously? Yeah? So, most of you have best friends here. How many of you only meet your best friend maybe once or twice a year? Some, right? I saw some hand, right? And every time when you meet your best friend, is it enjoyable? Why? You see, it's not about the quantity of time. It's really about the quality that you have with each other that fulfill your emotional needs. Okay? So how do we have a quality engagement with our families and friends? I call this the 7 attributes of a good relationship. Right? First of all, be generous. When I mention generous, it's not only about material, but it's also about your words, your speech. Be kind, encourage each other, and often offer your advice to one another. That is being generous. Generous in the emotional aspect. Be helpful in wherever you can, right? Help each other, because there will be a time where you need help for your friends or family members. Third, be forgiving, right? Relationship with families and friends take time to build. So don't destroy a friendship or a relationship with family members by bearing grudges. The word forgiving is 2 words. For and giving. It's actually forgiving your understanding. Forgiving your understanding that everybody make mistakes. right? So be forgiving. And you may think that by forgiving someone, you're actually helping someone. But that's not the case. When you forgive, you won't let the other person's action or conduct to disturb your mind. So be forgiving. Be truthful, right? In any relationship, you need trust. Be truthful means that I trust you, I depend on you, and I opening up an important part of me to you. I'm truthful to you. And be trustworthy is that your friend can trust you. Your friend can trust the very inner, deeper part of them to you, right? So be truthful and be trustworthy. And don't leave them helpless. There will be time where your friends or family members need help, feel down. So don't leave them helpless and don't despise them when they are down. So when you are able to, of course the list is not exhaustive. These are some of the lists that I thought of. If you have these 7 attributes of a good relationship, your time, your engagement with your family and friends will really be a very meaningful one. And you don't have to spend a lot of time with them, right? It's a quality of time. Next, I talk about well-being, which is also very important because just now we talk about our academic life, then we talk about social life. It's all outward, very outward, right? There's also something that we cannot neglect, and it's our own personal well-being, right? It's about pursuing your own interests and have time for spiritual growth. So learn life skills, be physical fit, be mentally fit. And psychologists have said, if you keep on learning, it can actually prevent aging. Yeah, this is cited in one of the psychology journal. If you keep on learning in your life, have a lifelong learning, have time to learn the new skills, you actually prevent yourself from aging. And that is the cheapest and the best anti-aging cream that you have, right? You don't need to go for procedures. Just keep on learning and can prevent yourself from aging. But, that's not all. Okay, that's not all. You need to devote some time for some spiritual practice. Be it whatever spirituality that speaks to you. You need to devote some time for that spiritual moment with whatever tradition that speaks to you. Why? Because a spiritual practice helps us to find purpose in life. I know all of you are very young here. 20s, right? 20s, right? When you reach about 30, you start to ask, what is my purpose in life, huh? And by the time when you don't have a spiritual practice, the ha become okay? So we need to devote time for spiritual practice. You choose whatever practice that it is sing to you, whatever that you're comfortable with. Because basically it helps to find purpose, it keeps us morally upright, and it helps us to look at life in perspective, right? And in the spiritual tradition that I come from, we are told to give, to really give. Because like I mentioned just now, we are all interdependent, we are connected. So you may say that when I give something to other people benefit. But that's not true. Because we are so interconnected that whatever we give, it will come back. And scientists have said, when you give, there's a certain part in your brain that actually release a chemical. And that chemical actually make you happy, right? So if you can give, be it how small is it, try to contribute to society and give whatever you can. It can be material things, like if you have extra savings or you have old clothes, you can give to people who are in need. Or it can be immaterial things like comfort words, encouragement, or even a smile to people around you. I don't see a lot of smile going around. Should we smile? Yeah, these are all gifts, right? And I'm also told to develop moral values. And why moral values? When you develop moral values, you lead a happy life. Why a happy life? Because by being morally upright, you are free from guilt. Free from guilt and free from repercussion of the action that you do. So, we are taught to develop moral values, right? It's about avoiding evil, do good, and purify the mind. And in my tradition, we are also told to develop a peaceful mind. Mindfulness practice is one of the center practice in my tradition. So we develop a peaceful mind because when your mind is peaceful, when you're mindful, you actually have love, compassion, joy, and calm. And that's the reason why mindfulness practice has been so popular around the world, because it really helps the mind to be anchored, to be in the present, and not to go to the past and the future. A lot of time, our mind just goes to the past and the future and not in the present. And when your mind is not in the present, you won't engage the person next to you properly. Last but not least, in my tradition, we talk about developing wisdom, right? Because we know that life is very, very transient, right? The moment that you have now will never come again. The second that you have now will never, never come again. It will never be the same. So in this way, we try to achieve happiness and bliss in the ability to appreciate the moment. And we can change and be the best version of ourselves, right? And I think all these qualities are found in most of the spiritual practice, or of most of the spirituality. So you need to find one that sings to you, find one that you find you have certain inclination to, and develop some time for spiritual practice. So the key takeaway of my presentation today is that a balanced social life is really essential for well-being. When you know every single purpose, the real purpose of every single area of the social life, then you're able to do it properly. And when you do it properly, you won't waste your time barking on the wrong tree or miss a big picture, right? And knowing the purpose of the three areas like I mentioned just now can help you to live a more meaningful life. And these three areas actually help to support one another. Because when you have accumulate life skills, your material things will be more stable, you will not be so stressed, and then you can engage your relationship in a more meaningful way. You'll be more stable. And when you're able to engage your relationship in a stable way, you're more emotionally stable. And when you are more emotionally stable, it helps you back into a career or your academic life. And also, spending time with yourself and spiritual practice help you to center yourself. And when you are centered, all this area will be done with a breeze, right? So you need to seek to manage them well, and your social life will be a very fulfilling and meaningful one. Let me finish off with a quote. What lies behind you and what lies in front of you pales in comparison to what lies inside of you. So what lies inside of you is the life skills that you're going to learn, your emotional stability, and your wisdom that you derive from your me time or your spirituality. With this, I thank you for attention. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ong. And now we're going to open first question, and please ask in English.
Yeah, I don't understand Bahasa. I think a translator.
Okay, first question, please. Raise your hand and we'll give the mic. First question. Okay, the first question from, you can say your name and ask the question.
Okay, my name is Jonathan.
Hi, Jonathan.
So there's one question that I cannot solve myself. Okay. So this one is, how can I handle my stress when I didn't do anything for the whole day?
Sorry, your question is how do you handle your stress well?
Yeah,
And
I always feel like really stressed when I did nothing for the whole day. It's okay for the school day, so it can make me more productive. But
Okay.
in holiday, it pressures me so much.
sometimes
Yeah.
it's okay to do nothing for the whole day. Don't feel guilty about it. You need to rest. So if you need to rest, don't stress over rest. Just rest. I mean, it's true because a lot of time, in living in a city, we often think that we have to do something. We have to do something. If my day is not effective, we blame ourselves. We blame ourselves and try to beat ourselves up. But that's not the case. We all need to rest, and when we are tired, we need to stop. That's why the me time is so important. The well-being is so important. So if you need to rest, you rest. And when you rest enough, do your work. Please do your work. Don't, when you try to do work, you rest, and rest time you do work. Then salah lah, huh? Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Hope it helps.
Okay, thank you, Jonathan, for the question. And yes, next question, please. We still have sometimes around 5 or 10 minutes, so we still about 2 or 3 more questions.
Unfair. I will answer 3 questions, but the previous speaker only answered 1 question.
Okay.
But happy to do it.
Okay, next question. Maybe from the Life Insight committee. Oh, this one.
Thank you. I'm from Prasmul. I'm from Prasetiya Mulya. I'm Kevin.
Hi, Kevin.
So have you ever think about building your own business after you become this successful?
The
Thank you.
answer is no. Okay, why no? Because I understand myself, what I want in life, and my capability. I have a lot of self-awareness. I really salute people who are entrepreneurs. I think they have a lot of skill set that we all can learn from. But for me, I have a self-awareness that probably I can't build business, but I can help people to build business. That's why I help Citibank to build business.
Thank you very much for the question.
Thank you, Kevin. Okay, next question.
Hello, okay. My name is Juan.
Hi, Juan.
I'm intrigued by your quote that you said that life is transient. How do you convince or how do you make sure that people will know the true value of time itself and so that people will use the time to its fullest? Thank you.
I do not need to convince other people that life is transient. I just need to convince myself life is transient. Because if I know life is transient, I will treasure every minute of it, every second of it. If I worry about whether other people understand it or not, then I've been wasting my time.
Okay, thank you, Juan. Nice question. And we still have some time. Maybe 1 or 2 questions more.
To add to the answer, really, if you really want to convince people about life in transient, ask them to look in the mirror. They will look different from 5 years ago, and that is transient. There's a question here. Yeah, the lady in front. Come on, stand up, so they can see you.
Sorry, my name is Wilson, and I want to ask you:
Hi,
is
Wilson.
there anything or anyone who support you to be who you are today? Thank you.
A lot, really a lot, because we know we all don't live on an island. We don't live on an island. We need a lot of support, conditions to be who we are today. So my main support, I think, come from my friends and family, and more importantly, my spiritual tradition. It really helps me a lot because it put my life into perspective. It helped me to treasure every single moment of my life so that I won't waste it. And like I just mentioned, just like I just mentioned to other person, it made me feel happy without guilt and fear for sleeping and resting. So in short, we all need different conditions to be who we are. And that's why I mentioned the 3 areas is important, because academic life is learning. So if you have a chance to study in a university, you have the means to study in a university, don't waste it. Don't just focus on results. Results is just part of the equation. Use your university life to learn life skills, and then really engage with your family members, have meaningful contact with your friends. And thirdly, really have time for yourself and anchor yourself in spirituality. Okay?
Okay, one last question for the lady in the front.
Well, sir, I want to ask, how do we solve our minds when we are stuck at an uncomfortable environment like an office? Maybe there's a lot of negative people that affected us. How do we don't affected by them? That's it. Thank you.
Before I answer the question, I need to get your name first. I don't know your name.
My name is Novi.
Hi, Novi. Okay, that's a good question.
Thank you.
I think a lot of time when we can't settle a problem or we have trouble trying to solve a situation, it's about the mind state that we are in. The mind state that we always want results. We always want instant solution. We always want things that go our way, right? That's why we stress over it. We have a lot of expectation over it. But if we look at solving a problem as a journey, as a learning, then we'll enjoy the process. It's not so much about the outcome in the end. Yes, it's important, but it's not the most important. Enjoy the outcome of solving a problem or going through some things that you cannot solve in life. And when you are able to look at it as a process, as a journey, you won't get so stressed over it. Because stress is something that hinder your mind to be clear and to be able to come up with solution. And this is what I do. When I cannot solve a certain problem, and when I try and I can't solve, I just go and rest lah. Go and sleep, drink a coffee, have a break, and then come back, and voila, sometimes solution will come. I'm serious, sometimes solution will come. Because when your mind is relaxed, when your mind is not so stressed, your mind tends to be more creative. And it's proven in science. Okay? I hope this is the last question. I answered 7 questions.
Okay, that's the end of the Q&A session. Please give big round of applause for Mr. Ong. Okay? And now we would like to invite Mrs. Ida Juda Wijoyo to give token of appreciation to Mr. Ong. Mrs. Ida, please come on stage to give token of appreciation. Okay, Life Insight Committee can prepare the token of appreciation and the documentation team. And there it is, the token of appreciation from Widyodaya Life Insight 2018. Okay, then this is it, the token of appreciation from Mrs. Ida as the Vice Rector of Prasetiya Mulya University to Mr. Ong. Okay, let's take a photo again. 1, 2, 3. Once again. 1, 2, 3. And for the goodie bag, the merchandise. Okay. Okay. Once again, please give big round of applause for Mr. Ong Chye Chye. Thank you, Ms. Ida. Thank you, Mr. Ong. Nah teman-teman, jadi kita akan sedikit bercampur-campur bahasanya, bahasa Indonesia dan bahasa Inggris. Nah, sesi kedua tadi kita sudah berbahasa full bahasa Inggris dan sesi ketiga juga akan full bahasa Inggris. Dan sekali lagi untuk teman-teman kami ingin mengingatkan mengenai share the positivity game, oke? Ini orangnya pesertanya semakin bertambah, jadi jangan ragu-ragu.